Thank you very much for that. Now I would like to invite Dr. Dhrupad Mathur, who is the Director of SP Jain Center of Management, to take the floor. You have the floor.
Honorable dignitaries, respected participants, panelists, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to all of you and a very good morning to all of you. Today, since we are talking under the theme of moving from advocacy to action, I would like to take you back to certain fundamentals. We all know that the entire perspective of the development programs and development projects is very diverse, and these are the characteristics of the development arena. If we have a quick look at the characteristics that are enlisted below, we know that there are diverse initiatives ranging from large scale national level programs to small agency level projects, diverse set of stakeholders playing diverse types of roles. They have diverse goals, timelines, implementation models, not to forget, diverse funding mechanisms and diverse ownership patterns, diverse policies, procedures, and of course diverse outcomes. We all know that this diversity is very vital, it's healthy, and at the same time it is difficult to address. We also know that there are various factors that are very critical for the success of the development programs, and we are talking about various development programs that pertains to various initiatives under the Millennium Development Goals. ICT certainly has a role to play. Information and communication technologies today are impacting almost all the realms of the development sector. A few examples are enlisted. It affects the leadership, policy making, and the determination of the mandate today, directly or indirectly. Conceptualization, project development are very vital aspects of the same, and it has got a profound impact on that as well. Effective program and project management, somebody was just mentioning about the capacities that are to be developed in the developing countries. ICT plays and has to play a very important role. It also plays a very important role in the resource management, budgeting, and sustainability of such projects. Simplification of the procedures and introducing conducive reforms across various stakeholders and the policy-making bodies. It also is a very vital tool for inter-agency collaboration today, and various development projects today are at different levels of utilizing ICT as a potent tool towards the same. It also helps in bringing accountability. It helps in replication of success and imbibing best practices, replicating best practices from all over the world. Last but not the least, it also helps in generating user demand and participation. Now the list can be very long, and you must be wondering as to why we are talking about it. This all is happening in some way or the other, and it is impacting directly or indirectly various larger scale or smaller scale development projects all over the world. So coming back to the question, we are here to create action. So where is action? I believe there is action. Action is going on, though it looks like this. There are so many stakeholders, there are so many people, so many agencies, policies, procedures, guidelines, agencies, collaborators who are associated in this entire ecosystem, and they are doing what they can do with all good intent. They are doing what they can do best, and they are trying to contribute to the Millennium Development Goal agenda. But the need of the hour is addressing the diverse dimensions of the development projects and goals. We all understand that these dimensions are very diverse. So how do we address it? The first and the foremost thing is to create a meaningful impact towards the achievement of Millennium Development Goals. We will have to address this complex system. So we'll have to take cognizance of the fact that the system is complex, and ICT there would be a vital tool. But as you know, the tools are of use only if one has a clear understanding of the problem system, which means the various components of the problem, the environment, and you have to have an approach towards the same. So we'll have to be approaching and impacting various actors, issues, and value chain. I insist value chain for the MGD advancement. Do we really know what the MGD value chain looks like? It is so diverse. Let's make an attempt to have a look at what are the diverse ICTD ecosystem actors and issues. And as we all know, there are government ministries, departments, agencies today that are actively participating in the advancement of such projects and such programs. There is private sector playing a very vital role, something which we will have to utilize as we go ahead. They are present in various forms ranging from technology service providers to consultants to intermediaries. There are NGOs and civil society. Academia is playing a vital role by providing research and development and collaborative networks, etc. And so are international agencies, donor agencies, and funding organizations. But the perspectives are very different. I'm sure you must have heard this story. Each one of them have different perspectives, and they have different ways of looking at things. And hence, alignment of their objectives and alignment of those initiatives, alignments of the momentum is actually the biggest challenge. And I'm sure those of you who come from the developing countries, or many of you here are practitioners, would agree with me on this, that it is very difficult to have, and I'm really not talking about the interagency collaboration, it actually goes much beyond that. So how do we make a meaning out of this diverse puzzle? They are different in terms of their perspectives, they are different in terms of priorities, their motivation, their needs, their interests, their action capabilities, their assimilation capabilities, their retention capabilities, their usage capabilities, and last but not the least, each one of them actually represents a sub-environmental condition. They are exposed to a different type of a sub-environmental condition. And each of the larger scale program or development program runs across all these stakeholders. So in order to achieve any success for the advancement of MGDs, we will have to address this ecosystem. Impacting the development value chain is equally important. So first is that you will have to identify the value chain in terms of various imperatives at the policy level that translates into decision making, the program level imperatives that translate into conceptualization and project development, and at the project level that deals with implementation issues. Active and sustainable interventions in the value chain are to be made. It's very important that a body like UN GAID assumes the role of a central facilitator in order to actively intervene into such value chain. How do we do it is actually a matter of debate and detail, but that's very important. So the internal capacities for conceptualization and program management need to be developed further. There are supposed to be viable knowledge transfer mechanisms, and it's also very important for us to see as to how do we build up or augment or support their systemic capacities, efficiencies, and take care of the structural issues, manpower and resource issues. One of such example and a very decent attempt is e-enabler, but as you realize, it addresses only a part of the problem, but it's a very potent attempt towards the same. So coming back to the same question and the theme of the session, what is holding us back? Actually nothing. I believe nothing is holding us back, provided that we are in a position to augment and transform our role, and now is the time. Create a mechanism that connects them all, and we can do it now, looking at and addressing the bigger picture of development ecosystem and going beyond IT solution. Though I am a technologist by training, but I am saying it, we'll have to go beyond IT solutions and impacting the development program value chain, looking at the bigger picture. How can we do it? This is how we can do it. UN GAID can assume a central role which constantly does assessment of the development issues and development outcomes. This is to be done in close association with the stakeholders, and thereby creating an impact on such stakeholders and creating an impact on such mechanisms. It is also very important, the pink arrows that you see, it's also very important to have a look at the interlinkages between various stakeholders and outcomes, mechanisms and outcomes, and issues, stakeholders and issues versus mechanism, and thereby assume the role of a central facilitator. So the way ahead, we need to come up with an action-oriented roadmap towards an MGD advancement through ICT, where the UN GAID assumes a pivotal role considering the development ecosystem, it's a stakeholder, thereby creating enabling mechanisms and interlinkages as illustrated, suitably involving stakeholders to derive a force multiplier effect. That's very important. There are so many people doing so many things, so how we can derive a force multiplier effect. Develop capability exchange mechanisms and exploring sustainable models for that. There are various capabilities, various capacities that exist elsewhere in the world, the onus is on us to make sure that the people who need it are also in a position to utilize it. So can we create an exchange which is also sustainable, and I'm talking about financial viability of the same. Last but not the least, intensive outreach initiatives are important, and I agree with some of my fellow panelists who have emphasized on the need of capacity building for the policymakers. It's very important to have a sensitization, a hand-holding for the policymakers. There are supposed to be capacity development and outreach initiatives across all the levels, including the policy, program, and the project level that are directed towards the development projects. Thank you very much.